Richmond, 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 why do you do this? NASCAR, why do you do this? I couldn't make up a funny Romeo and Juliet after watching the Leonardo DiCaprio movie to the drama that played down at Richmond on Easter Sunday. It is the Armchair Crew Chief podcast, and my name is Jordan, and I am here with my lovely co-host and co-person of life, my wife, Rebecca. Co-person of life. Oh, Richmond was a complete crap show at the end.
NASCAR loves to ruin things.
So
that is their favorite thing to do. I am now certain after everything
that happened. So let's go ahead and dive into a little bit of stuff here. We have some numbers for Circuit of the Americas, TV numbers. So the Grand Prix netted a 3.31 million viewers on Fox, up 6% from the same race at Circuit of the Americas, and the fifth consecutive week of increase of viewerships to last season. The Focus Health 250 netted 815,000, where you look at IndyCar had their thermal $1 million, whatever it was, that netted like 60,000 people who watched it or something silly like that. So, yeah. It looks like there's an upward trend here going on with the numbers for NASCAR, and then they do stuff like they did Sunday night. But let's go ahead and dive into our Xfinity Series, because our Xfinity Series was the one that ran. It was okay. There was some good battles in between. We had a driver that has never driven an Xfinity car before. Junior put Bubba Pollard in the car. Qualified horribly, but ended up eking it out for a sixth-place finish.
Ooh, that's not bad.
No. Kligerman was 7th. Austin Hill 8th. Sheldon Creed had a horrible car.
Yeah. Didn't his DNF?
He DNF for something to do with brakes and tires or something like that.
Yeah.
And then, who was it? There was somebody, Brandon Jones. Engine let loose. Oil hose blew up, and
he's been having bad luck
ever since moving over from Joe Gibbs over to Junior.
Yeah, it's a shame because I feel like he's a good driver. Just stuff keeps happening.
Yeah, so we had that going on. I remember watching or listening to the race more than doing anything else. And then watching some of it. Eric Almirola did go out there and lead quite a bit.
Yeah, he did. He led most of the race.
Yeah. He led most of the race. Chandler Smith ended up getting the win, so he got his second win this year or something like that. So, I mean, he's up there. Jesse Love, another strong showing, got 5th. Corey Heim, 4th. Taylor Gray, 3rd. Eric Almirola got 2nd. So it was an interesting race. Listening to it and hearing everything going on, it was. I
thought it was slightly boring, but
yeah, it was slightly. I mean, you had listening to it. You had the cars that were letting loose or getting into it in the back. There were only the thing that kind of makes it slightly boring to me, and same thing you can do with the Cup Series. So there was only 9 cars in the lead lap. In that race.
Mm. It's easy to get lapped on these short tracks.
Yeah. So, I mean, Josh Williams did okay. He finished 12th. I mean,
yeah,
it's a lot better than he has been.
Mm-hmm.
Dinger 14th. SVG 15th. Just to put some names out there. Matty D, his first race, back 18th.
That's not bad.
No. I'm trying to find out where Haley Deegan 31st. She was 9 laps down. Then Ryan Sieg, 30 laps down, still running.
But the highlight of the Xfinity race
was Joey Gase
Joey
And
Gase.
who ran into him?
Cram.
Yeah, Dawson Cram, I think his name is.
Mm-hmm. He totally just ran through him.
Oh my
And
goodness.
spun him out. And then he was so mad, he decided to rip the rest of his bumper cover off and throw it at his car.
And he did a really good job.
And he did an amazing job at throwing it at his car.
It messed up the front windscreen of the car a little bit, one of the tear-offs.
Yeah.
NASCAR took the part back to the hauler for investigation because there is a part of the rule that says you're not allowed to take a part of your car off and throw it at somebody. So we'll probably hear some more information about that coming out.
But I mean, usually when they get mad like that, they usually don't do that great of a job.
No, or they throw their helmet.
This was perfect. He threw it exactly. He timed it just right.
Yes.
It hit the front. It flew off the back. It was the best. I mean, there was some people have thrown helmets and they were pretty good, but that was really good.
Yeah, it was.
And then he was mad too because he was like, "I gave him his start."
Yeah,
he was so mad.
Yeah, that was the best part. He's like, "I gave him the start." I guess it was just he was ranting on and on about stuff. He's like, "We came here not to wreck cars because we're a single car team," and blah 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 blah.
And he did. He ran through him. He didn't let go. Like he just crashed him.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was the setup for the Cup Series race coming up on Easter Sunday. A lot of questions have been put out there with the fact that they had some rain come through. It was raining during pre-race, and mixed bag emotions on whether, and I like how somebody called it, they're sprinkle tires.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, should they have tried to dry the track off more for another 40 minutes, 30, 40 minutes, and then get the race going? Or put it on there? Well, I get why they did it, because they wasted 20 minutes going down pit road again to dry it at the end of the stage break. Like, there was 6 laps left in the stage, into stage 1, and they cut it and said, this is the end of the stage, because they're running the jet dryers. And so they just decided to let the jet dryers keep going and clean it. And I think that was the first set of live pits. The end of stage 1 was the first set of competitive pits, pit stops there. So yeah, it was that. It started off interesting because you had a lot of people like Iffy. Bubba Wallace couldn't go on those tires. He was struggling. He held up quite a bit of people, but then he would get going. Truex had the same thing. Chase Elliott and Kyle Larson ran off with it, and then they called them in at some point to do the pit stop. So when it came to and this is what makes, I don't know, if you're going to run these kind of tires, make the teams figure out when to change them.
Yeah.
Like you do on, so like Formula One does it, IndyCar does it. A lot of these other teams do it where, it's one of those things, you decide when you're going to change it. I think they did that last year.
Yeah, I
They're
think so
North
too.
Wilkesboro.
Yeah.
And so they said, no, we're not doing that. Everybody comes in non-competitive pit stop. As long as you can get everything done and make your changes back the way it was for dry weather racing, you get your same spot.
NASCAR just put their hands all over this race and ruined it.
It was ruined big time. So yeah, that started off. Larson ended up winning the first stage, and then we get into dry weather racing for the most part. And Truex came out. He got up front. He led a lot. He led over half the race. He won the second stage. It was interesting to see the different pit strategies for the Cup Series, for some of the guys doing like that first stage. The second stage, it seems like everybody did the same thing, but that first stage they split it. Some of them did 2 stops, some of them did 1 stop. And it was interesting to watch that, to see how the teams. It seems like the 2-stop teams actually came out on top, where the 1-stop teams, they got lucky because there was a caution for debris, quote unquote debris. So that happened. There wasn't really any cautions for cause except for one, which we'll get into later. But we had a caution for changing from wet weather to dry weather, which NASCAR makes that change and everybody has to do it, not you guys come in and do or whatever. Mm-hmm. The cars ran fairly well. It seemed like they were so hesitant on doing it because they kept asking the drivers, "Are you good? Are you good? Are you good? Are you good?" And like Truex was like, "I don't know. It's hard to tell. This track is very different." Mm-hmm. But then you have like Ty Gibbs was like, "Let's just go racing. Stop fiddling around and let's go."
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I agree with him. They should. I mean, stop. If you're going to make a decision, make the decision. Don't waffle on it after you made the decision and regret it like that quickly and then try to revert. So
they can't ever make a decision. And then when they do make the decision, it's the wrong decision, it seems like. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, it was interesting to see what happens with that. It was a decent race. There was a lot of fighting back and forth throughout.
Well, as much as you could see, because
Fox went and
still
boogered it up.
They can't broadcast a race to save their lives,
which we'll talk about again later on that as well. But
it's like let's stay on the in-car camera of Denny Hamlin, who's in 11th place for 6 laps.
I think the reason they did that is because he had the Thank You Toyota car.
It doesn't matter. 6 laps is way too long.
So they did that at the end of the race in the third stage. And the reason they did that in the third stage was he was coming. He made he was on a different pit strategy than the leaders, and he was coming down and catching everybody until he used his stuff up. Mm-hmm. He used it up. He couldn't get behind Joey or couldn't get past Joey to keep it consistent. Then he comes out. Truex is going along. He's getting caught up. He got caught up by Chastain. Gave him a hard time. Somebody else gave him a hard time too, going around watching what we could watch. But I mean, I don't know. It was interesting to watch it, and then, like I was saying, there was a lot of passing going on. You had Denny Hamlin had 100 green flag passes. We had some guys 117. Tyler Reddick, Josh Berry 116. Josh Berry did fairly well.
He was doing really well
in this race. And then you have 115 from Gragson, 114 from Ty Gibbs, 171 green flag passes by Ryan Blaney.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there was passing going on. It was crazy.
You didn't get to see a lot of it, though.
No, you didn't get to see a lot of it because they got stuck on the front people. And that's why I still, and I'm going to say it again, I still am a proponent to spend the money, get the app, and watch the race on TV, and then put whatever your favorite driver is, put their car video on your iPad or your Android or iPhone, and sit there and watch it that way, because you'll be able to watch more of the race that way.
Yeah, it's terrible. I cannot believe how bad it's gotten.
It's
like every week they outdo themselves with being bad.
I don't think they can outdo themselves after this week.
Oh, you want to bet? We got another short track. Also, too, we've noticed too that in this race especially, we don't think that the commentators are actually watching the race.
Right.
They're watching monitors.
Right. Yeah.
And I think they're almost being told what to say and what not to say, because there was a lot of seeming like, oh, they were going to say something, and then they're like, oh, no, I shouldn't say that.
Right.
Or, there's things happening on the track, and they're not saying anything.
This goes back to the rumors that we talked about, where Dale Earnhardt Jr., there was something came out with Dale Jr., and he squashed it, but the fact of he was trying to watch the race, not the monitors, and the NBC production crew was yelling at him for telling him to watch the monitors. So yeah, it's so much mess going on, and it's not even talking about these little stupid. Let's meet the pit crew of Chase Elliott.
Yeah.
Let's meet the pit crew of so and so, and we find out who they are. Yeah, if you want to do that during pre-race or something. Come on. That just takes, because they put that in the large. It's like watching a
Right. It'd be one thing if they put it like below, like they do for football, like
that
down,
would be kind of cool.
Down the bottom, and they're showing the person, but you're still watching the race. That'd be cool. But no, we're just going to take over the whole screen, so you can't watch it.
Yeah, that would be kind of cool to see. I mean, overall, yeah, it's one of those things. It's very annoying what Fox has been doing, and I really hope that NASCAR can or not NASCAR, NBC can do better. NASCAR's just pretty much screwed themselves up too, and it's really, really bad. I mean, everybody's talking about it.
The inconsistencies of NASCAR in the past couple of years it's really ruining the sport, and people don't like it. Although they're saying, we're getting so many more people, but like, are they happy?
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, we have drivers that we really like, so that's why we keep watching it, But like, to get new people on, I guess new people wouldn't understand it, but I just can't stand the inconsistencies with cautions, and it depends on who it is. If, somebody in the back, we'll just pick, what's his name? I can't, like Ryan Preece or something. He spins, there's not going to be a caution. It's whatever, But, Kyle Larson.
All right, so
William Byron, we're gonna, somebody like that, they spin, we're throwing a caution right away.
Since we're crossing that path now, so we go into everything. Truex is still leading. Joey Logano and Denny Hamlin are sitting there catching him.
Also, at this point, it's like 11 o'clock at night, and I want to go to bed.
Yeah.
I'm like, this race just needs to be done.
This race lasted a little bit longer because of all the little funny changes that, the wet weather tires.
Like, I'm not really mad. It's just, I was just like so ready to just go to bed.
All right. So going on through there, Bubba Wallace and Kyle Larson. Larson's trying to make his way back up as well. I think they were 6th or something like that, 7th, 8th. Well, Bubba gets loose and just pops Larson. And Larson's like, oh, and spins out onto the apron. And then
onto the apron. Nobody nothing wrong. He's still going. He starts going. Everything is fine, but they throw the caution.
And you gotta think the cars are so spread out here that they only lost like 2 spots.
Okay, and Truex was just about to get the white flag.
Yeah, almost about to get the white flag.
Like closer than when Byron was going to get the white flag, or the caution came out, or whatever, for the Daytona 500.
Right.
When they could have kept going for that.
Yeah.
But they didn't.
So that gets thrown out. And they come in the pit. Yeah, and so Truex gets beat off pit road by Denny Hamlin.
Okay, I wanted to say this real quick. Now, do I like races ending on a caution? No, I do not. Okay? I'm not saying this because we are Truex fans that I wanted them to throw the caution. My problem is it's the inconsistency. We've been throwing the caution or waiting for the person to take the white flag and then throwing the caution for the past year and a half.
There was no need for a caution here.
There was absolutely no reason for a caution. He kept going, especially since he went to the pits and he came out 3rd.
Yeah.
He's the caution, and he comes out 3rd.
Yeah, so I mean, there was no immediate danger on the track. Larson spun through the grass onto a deeper part of the apron where he just kept rolling, and again, everything was so spread out that he didn't really lose his spots. Maybe he went to 6. I don't remember what it was, but then so they stop it, and Truex, I think he was just into turn 3 and 4 when it happened.
Yeah. He was just about to get the white flag, and it's like, you're totally joking me right now.
Yeah, so that was frustrating, and to see it again and replay and see what happened, it was ridiculous. And the annoying part about this one too is this caution. We'll stick on the caution for a little bit. So Bubba goes over at the end of the race and apologizes to Larson. He's like, "Oh man, karma's a you know what," And it got us hard because he went in and he had trouble. So he went to 16th during the pitting. And then so, he's talking about this. And Bob Proctor's is talking about it. And it sounds like Proctor is going to bring up something about like Larson and the racism. That's what I got. The way, as quickly as Bubba squashed it, that's the only thing I could assume that was going to be said was, or were you going to hit him because of that? Or were you going to hit them because of this other reason that we're going to talk about? And so, anyway, Denny gets out first, Truex second, Logano third on...
Also, I'd love to see the data on that, too, because I can't believe that his pit crew got him out that fast apparently without him speeding, because he beat Logano and Truex.
Apparently, he did an 8.6 second pit stop. His crew did. Whatever, I don't know what he did before and after. Now, again, the only thing that looks bad about this is Truex has a history of his pit crew just being horrible.
Yeah, but I don't think they were bad because he still got out in front of Logano. And it wasn't by just a little bit. It was like how they came in.
Yeah, there's something was fishy there. So we get lined up. We're going around. They're about to start. Here's the big problem with Fox on this. So Fox is sitting there watching. They have their camera, so they watch the cars go by. They had the
camera before the corner.
Yeah, well, no, it's right after the corner, so the cars are coming around.
So the cars are coming around.
So it's one of those things that they've done in the past, but then they cut to their wide camera that's on the track at the restart zone for the restart. They didn't do that. No, they sat on it, and you just hear it run, and it's like, what in the world's going on? And everybody's like, what's going on? What's going on? And, I mean...
And here's the thing, then that's why I'm saying that the commentators are not watching the race, because they didn't say a word.
No, they didn't. They just kept talking. And there's something else that'll catch that, and we'll talk about it in a little bit. But, I mean, even Brett Griffin, who used to be more colleague crew spotter, he was calling it out on TV, or on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, saying, Fox just botched this. And everybody was calling Fox out for just how horrible of a broadcast this is. So, you go with that and you see how bad it was. And then I'm listening to the spotter radio, the radio for Truex, and it's like I hear him going, and you hear him say he jumped the line. That was the thing Truex said. And they said, okay, keep going, you're next to him. And they finally got to him as they were about to go into turn 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Finally switched the camera back. And Fox just totally botched that. Denny comes around and just goes around and wins the race. And so there's some people speculated that Bubba caused the caution to help Denny get up there because he couldn't get up there. Mm-hmm. I would love to hear the radio between the secondary channel between Freddie and
but the
Freddie
fact that NASCAR wouldn't even review it, you know that he jumped it,
and they brought it back, and they said they actually interviewed the guy outside the hauler, and he's like, "Yeah, we looked at it, and it looked okay." That's the biggest lie ever told so far right now, because when you go back...
No, that's the second biggest. Sorry, Jeff Burton saying that they have people around the track for the weather.
Yeah, that was silly. But anyway, so they go out, and then Truex loses it, and then Logano goes by him, and then Larson's coming there, up in third, and he just gets frustrated and bangs Larson. Larson bangs him, and Larson gets him, and then Truex finishes fourth. But it's like, and then
Larson. They talk to Larson. Larson's like, I don't know why he hit me, and he's like, he was mad because you caused the caution.
Yeah,
and you're up there in third.
Exactly. There was nothing wrong with your car. You spun out. You got back on track. NASCAR pushed the button prematurely. Mm-hmm. And it was all like, I remember when what's his name was talking about, Junior was talking about it. They're like, "Oh, well, it's automatic." It's like, no, there's still somebody physically pushing the button, and they're like, "Oh, that's going to piss them off." But it's still, as Dale Jr. said, it's still up to the discretion of NASCAR. Yeah, somebody pushed that button too prematurely.
Okay, because that was Daytona, and Junior was talking about that, and Bowman was actually in front of Byron when the light came off. But it's the discretion of NASCAR. So it's whoever NASCAR wants. And it's just getting ridiculous. You have to be a certain person to... You're bringing in money, so you're getting it. I mean, this is Xfinity for Richard Childress. It's like he needs money, so we're gonna push this so that his guys win, because
it's so stupid. It's so dumb. I'm not even gonna say stupid, but yeah, like Larson's like, oh well, Truex is so respected. I think he just got frustrated at Hamlin, and Hamlin used him up. Yeah, Hamlin used him up. 1, 2. People are like, oh, they caught Truex sleeping. Hell yeah, you're going to catch him sleeping because he jumped the line. Yeah. And then they go out and they watch it. You watch it and he jumped the line. They replay it on Fox. And, they're
replay it like way after the race is done.
Way after the race is done.
They're finally like, oh, we're going to look at the restart. Like... Y'all didn't see it when you were up there?
Right.
Like
so
what?
They replay it, and, Boyer and them like, oh, yeah, he did get rolling a little earlier. Did Truex lay back? And then Harvick goes, he's about to say something, and this goes back to what you were saying earlier, where Fox producers are in there, and they're like, shut your mouth, don't say what you're about to think.
Yep.
And he's like, what only matters is he won. Yeah. And it's like, come on. What the heck, guys?
Stop being yes men. Like, this is what it's turned into. Yes men.
And so when you go back and look at it, too, and then also Truex did ram the crap out of Denny's car, too, at the end.
He did. At the end,
he was rightfully so. And everybody's like, oh, Truex is such a crybaby. When you look at everything... And Denny had the gall to come out and say, after all the SMI data and stuff, I've chosen to April Fools. Like, you dumb mother trucker. He
had to do that though, because so that nobody looks into it.
Yeah,
because he's gonna play it off like it's
I'm
not.
Sorry, Denny.
But he got Chase Elliott taken out of a race with the SMI data.
Right, because that SMI data, I kept looking for it, and I remember seeing this before. The SMI data, they pay some $70,000 a car, the teams do, to get that data. That is proprietary data that is not released to the public. Here's
my thought on this too. You'll have the people that don't like Truex and they're saying crybabies. You have the people that love Denny, so they're all excited. But I can tell you, I've looked on a bunch of different social media accounts, and there's people on them that I strongly disagree with, but they put out good stuff, so it's whatever. They even called it out. Right. Everyone was calling it out that Denny Hamlin jumped the start, and they were so mad. They're like, Denny Hamlin jumps the start for 10 feet, and he still wins the race, but SVG goes 2 inches off the track, and he loses 28 spots.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, NASCAR. Are you kidding me right now? We're gonna nickel and dime you basically for everything, and then it's like, oh, it's Denny Hamlin, so it doesn't matter. If it was a Hendricks car too, it'd be the same thing. Oh, it doesn't matter.
Right. Yeah, it's, I don't know. It's one of those things that's kind of stupid and silly. And, people...
I mean, like, NASCAR, with their throwing the cautions, it's like, it can even be in a race, the entire race is inconsistent. It's like, when we were at Pocono, Harvick spins, he's not even done spinning yet. Like, he's just sideways, they throw the caution.
Mm-hmm.
Corey LaJoie is spinning and spinning and spinning, no caution. Same race. I'm like, so why? No, neither one hit anything. So why are we throwing the caution? It's just so annoying.
Right. Yeah, it was bad. It was one of those things that
there's absolutely no reason for that caution.
So the thing that came out, I'm trying to find it because I did comment on it. It was something that Kenny Wallace had put out, and it was.
And Kenny Wallace is funny.
So this is what Kenny Wallace said. He said, yes, Denny Hamlin did jump the start, but it was for the win, and he got away with it. The blame for the loss goes to Martin Truex Jr. crew coming off pit road second. That put Denny in control of the restart. I commented back, and so many people came and said stuff, and it was like, how about the blame goes to the caution where the 5 spun off the track and wasn't in any danger of causing a wreck? By Fox's admission, they only lost a few spots. And people were like, yeah. You're pretty much right on that.
Yeah. Like, it should not have been called. Like, I was saying before, I was like, this happened before with Denny Hamlin. Was it Daytona that Newman was crashing? He was upside down.
Yeah,
Newman's upside down, almost died. Okay, people are backing off. Ryan Blaney should have won that race because they should have threw the caution, but they didn't. They didn't throw the caution. So Denny Hamlin's like, I'm going. So he goes and he wins the race, and he's a big a-hole and celebrating all this stuff while Newman's still stuck in the car, and we don't know if he's alive or not.
Right.
It's that kind of stuff. You're like, this doesn't make sense. The car flipping spun and was on the apron, didn't hit anything, didn't hit anybody, and he kept going. But we threw a caution on lap 399.
Right, yeah. That's one of those things. It gets annoying and it gets stupid with that. So, yeah, it's... again, he jumped it. Truex was frustrated for multiple reasons. Larson playing the dum-dum on it.
Yeah. And then my thought was like, okay, Truex, don't be your nice, respectful driving next week at Martinsville and just truck everyone, run through everyone, and win the dang race because this is stupid.
Right. So, yeah, that was the big thing there. And then... So we had that was going on, and then going back to the whole Bob Pockrass conversation, it was one of those things that I thought he was talking about the race thing with Larson and that's what I think Bubba thought he was talking about. I thought he was going to ask him about the whole fact that he dumped the 5 car to cause a caution because his owner could not get up there to pass for the win. And then somebody else said, yeah, it's the Richmond race. They got to give it to Denny because it's his home track.
Yeah.
So there were too many things out there that was annoying to that.
They do lots of things like that. And you start to wonder. It's like, because they disqualified Denny 2 years ago at Pocono, and then the next year they gave it to him.
Right.
That was one where they should have thrown a caution. They didn't throw the caution so that Denny could win the race.
Right.
It's like you have to be consistent with these things. This is where it's like you don't know what to think as a fan because, yeah, I like the races not ending on a caution, but you've done it so many times, you're expecting it.
Right, exactly.
And then it doesn't happen, and you're like, what the heck?
Yeah, that's a big stink on that. So that was an issue there. It was annoying. It was I could see the frustration there, and the annoying part about people actually saying, Truex is a crybaby. No, he rightfully had a complaint. On this one. And the fact that NASCAR didn't do anything, and the thing that even stuck out more. Now, I could see why it wasn't done like this, and I'd like to be a fly on the wall on the today at the driver meeting, but Coach just sat there, didn't say anything.
Yeah, you're not going to go to bat for your driver.
No, because it was his other driver.
But it doesn't matter, though.
So that was the annoying part. It was very, very frustrating. It was crazy.
I also can't stand when NASCAR's just like, we're not going to review it.
Right.
So then why did you throw the caution?
Yeah.
Why are we going to do a green-white checkered for the caution and you're not going to review it?
Because they don't want to do 2. I've seen 3 camera angles that have confirmed that Denny jumped. Martin's car, Denny's car, and the Fox broadcast. Mm-hmm. All of those show that he jumped.
Yeah, all of them.
I mean, every podcast in the NASCAR world is going to be talking about this right now. And it, like, to hear what Door Bumper Clear says is got to be wild to hear them, because Freddie Kraft's on there. That's Bubba's spotter. And it's like,
they're Denny lovers.
And they're homers for Denny,
yeah.
yes. So,
yeah.
Well, Brett Griffin did go off on X about some stuff, about Denny and the restart and everything.
No, yeah, I know. They're even calling it out. NASCAR should have reviewed that. That should not stand, and they should have done another restart. Like, they had no problem doing all that stuff in the beginning of the race.
Right.
So why can't we have a fair ending?
Yeah. So it's one of those things.
He's got to.
They both got to. Sorry, we have the baseball game in the background as we're doing this podcast, and we're trying to figure out where the Astros were against the Yankees, because they just put up a 10 spot on the Blue Jays. But anyway, going back to this, so that's the whole frustration with this podcast, and what you're hearing is the fact of how NASCAR's done it, how Fox has continually botched everything, and they don't come out and say anything. So
and that's my thing too. How is NASCAR not having issues with the way that Fox is broadcasting this?
Yeah,
like we're not seeing more than half of the race.
Right.
Between commercials and showing the guys on somebody's pit, and then just the cameras not showing the race at all.
Right.
It's like you see either the front, or if there's somebody in the middle there, they're like, oh, and they'll stay on them for 30 freaking laps, and you're like, what else is going on during this race? Like, you can't see any of it.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was the thing. I mean, anyway, that's how the whole race ended.
And it's almost like, is this like a whole conspiracy? They didn't want to show you the beginning because they knew Denny was going to jump it,
probably.
And they were going to give it to him?
It's coming out to be something like that. It's getting silly.
And especially the way that the commentators said nothing.
Right.
You're not looking out the window and saying... Denny Hamlin totally just jumped that. You can't tell me that Harvick did not want to say that.
No.
You can't tell me he didn't want to say that.
He's one that would be...
And they come back, and Mike Joy's the one that's talking.
Right. It would be interesting to get Kevin Harvick on the podcast for some... If, there's a spot of... whatever, divine intervention to get him on this podcast, to ask him something to that. I know he wouldn't say anything because he's got to toe the Fox line, but at the same time, I mean, I've called out Fox on there. It was like, your production's horrible.
But do you think, like, at some point that they're going to be sick of being yes men?
No, because you know what they're going to... Well, Boyer's been doing it forever. One, so is, Mike Joy. But if you're going to make them watch the race on a monitor in front of there, stop wasting the money to get them to the races and have them call it from Charlotte. Seriously. Make it be a crap show like Craftsman Trucks were for the past 3 years, that they called the races from Charlotte, and they didn't even know, like, something spinning.
Weren't they doing that with ARCA too?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it was I don't know, it's annoying, and I don't think it's going to change. So moving on, race 7 out of 36 are point standings for regular season. Our top 10. Well, we're gonna switch gears really quick on this and get this in. We have Reddick sitting at 10th, no change. Ross went down a spot, 9th. Chase went up a spot. Then you have Byron down a spot, Bell up 1, Blaney down 2, Ty Gibbs down 2. Denny Hamlin up 1, Kyle Larson up 1. Truex still has the lead by 14 points in the regular season standings. So that's there. It's take it as you want. It's one of those things that it's what's going to happen. Who knows? So moving forward to that, let's go ahead. We have 3 races coming up at Martinsville this weekend. We have our Long John Silver's 200, which is the truck series. And that one is going to end up being... I'm trying to see if we have anybody coming in there. William Sawalich is going to be running there. I don't see anybody sticking out too much on the trucks going out there and running. Let's see who's running the 7. Sammy Smith is going to be running the 7 truck. That's those are our ringers there. And Swallow is not really a ringer, but he's running it. He's running the 1 this year, or this week. So there's that. Then you have the Dude Wipes 250.
Dude Wipes. Wonder if people are going to get free Dude Wipes.
I don't know. You got,
shoot them out of cannons at people.
The Anthony Alfredo is going to run the Dude Wipes car too.
Nice. Need some Dude Wipes after Alfredo sauce.
Yeah, talk about. Eric Almirola's back he's in the 20. Taylor Gray is in the 19 this week. Haley Deegan, Haley Deegan, Airbox, her sponsor again. I don't see anybody sticking out here on where's the Hendrick Motorsports car. They're not running. So it seems like it's going to be a fairly, not really anybody sticking out. Matty D is back in the 38. We have a question mark on the 32. We don't know if anybody's going to be in there. But it seems like the 2 that are coming out are going to be Taylor Gray and Eric Almirola, which we already knew they were going to be running races anyway. Mm-hmm. So there's nobody really sticking out so much on that. Then we move out to the Cookout 400. Cookout 400 at Martinsville, not the Cookout 400 that's going to be during the summertime at Richmond.
That's so silly.
So we have Ross is going to be sponsored by Worldwide Express. Cindric has Menards and Libman. Austin Dillon has Bass Pro Shops. Josh Berry, Mobile One 50th anniversary. Mobile One's been doing some pretty cool sponsors. Also, they actually took over the Ruoff Mortgage Victory Lane. This is now the Mobile One Victory Lane. I think starting with this race in Richmond. I could be wrong on that, but it's coming up soon. They're taking over. Larson running HendrickCars.com and Ruby. Keselowski running Bodyguard. LaJoy running Gainbridge. Kyle Busch running Lucas Oil. The Unifirst Ruby. Oh, Ruby. They're running the red cars because it's the 40th anniversary. So they're going to have, they're not blue. They're going to be red.
Oh, so fun.
That's what the Ruby's coming into. I totally forgot about that. Because William Byron's running the Exalta Ruby. They showed some pictures, if you go back in the social media a while back, where they had all 4 cars lined up. So are all of them red? They're all red.
That's weird because Bowman's car is not anywhere near red ever.
Right. So
Chases,
Overstock.com is sponsoring Gragson. Denny Hamlin's got Sport Clips. Blaney Advanced Auto Parts. Chase Briscoe's got Mahindra. N29 Capital's back on the 15 with Kaz Grala. It's a weird sponsor. Yeah. Josh Williams is in the 16 with Alloy Employer Services. Mr. Boucher is running the BuildSubmarines.com 17 RFK Ford.
What is that?
BuildSubmarines.com.
Build Submarines.
Yeah. It's a big sponsor with RFK recently.
Okay.
What's his name ran it? Kesplowski ran it this past weekend. Yes, we did call him Kesplowski because he has a plow.
He wasn't doing anything, so I didn't see him.
Yeah.
And Fox stinks, so I really didn't see him.
Truex was running Bass Pro Shop. Seabell has got Yahoo! If you're old, you'll remember. Motorcraft Quick Lane is Harrison Burton. Congratulations to him and his now fiance. Then you have Shell Pennzoil on Joey Logano. Thank you, Tyler Purnell, for that. If you ever listen to this podcast, go watch his stuff too. And like Thursday when he does his paint scheme reviews of these guys, you got Bubba Wallace in the McDonald's car again. We said Exalta Ruby for Byron. Michael McDowell is in the Long John Silver's car. Carson Newman University for Todd Gilliland.
Interesting.
Ryan Preece, Haas Tooling. John Hunter's got Skip Barber Racing School. Eric Jones, Family Dollar. Reddick, Money Lion. Ricky Stenhouse is going to be running the Sunny D car. Alex Bowman with the Ally Ruby car.
That's weird.
Ohanify is Justin Haley.
Interesting.
Monster Energy is back with Ty Gibbs. Then we have Zane Smith, Focus Health, Delaware Life again with Carson Hocevar, and Freeway Insurance with Daniel Suarez. That is our lineup for the Martinsville race going forward. So we have that coming up. Let me look at our Cup stage breaks for this race, because we all like a good stage break. 80, 100, 220 for 400 laps at 210 miles.
Okay, that's reasonable. That's something different.
Yep. So that is the Cup Series Cup Series break on that. Full schedule for this Friday. We have practice and qualifying for the Craftsman Truck Series on FS1. Then practicing, that's at 3:05 Eastern, 3:40 Eastern. Practice and qualifying for Xfinity Series, 5:05 Eastern, 5:40 Eastern, FS1. Then we have
what day is this?
Friday, April 5th. Then we have 7:30 Eastern is the Long John Silver's 200 FS1. MRN has got the broadcast. Then we go into Sunday. Sunday we have 4:35 Eastern and 5:20 Eastern. Practice and qualifying Saturday, April 6th. Yes, on FS2, MRN's got it for Cup Series. Then at 7:30 Eastern, Dude Wipes 250 on FS1. I might go to that. Sunday, April 7th, at 3 Eastern, we have the Cookout 400. So we're probably looking at green flag waving at 3:15 on that one. That's FS1. MRN has the simulcast on that. Radio broadcast of Sirius XM with simulcast. Sirius is pretty much covering everything except for we will not have radio for the Truck Series or Xfinity practice and qualifying, but they will be on FS1 on Friday. And then on Monday the 8th, the world is allegedly coming to an end with the solar eclipse happening. And
they're supposed to be cranking up CERN.
Yeah, and cranking up CERN. But anyway, this is not a political podcast, so we're not really going to go into that. But anyway, so that's pretty much the layout. Let's see if NASCAR botches another one. Let's see if Truex can exact revenge. Let's see if Denny's car can crap, because we're still in Virginia. So Denny needs to win again. Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness. How many home tracks does he have?
I don't know. I mean, you could argue with Truex that it's New Hampshire and Dover, because New Hampshire he used to run it all the time, so he kind of calls that a home track, and then Dover because they call it Mayetta, New Jersey, but it's not called Mayetta, New Jersey in New Jersey. Like, it's called something else, because I don't know if you remember that. You remember 4 years ago? No, was it 19 or so? I did a wedding. I filmed a wedding.
Yes.
In New Jersey, and I drove on Martin Truex Jr. Boulevard.
Yeah.
That was pretty fancy. Fancy pants.
Well, you are fancy pants.
So, anyway, that's what we got coming up. We can see the huge headlines on what's going to happen and go forward. Check Tyler Purnell on TikTok. I don't know if he's anywhere else for paint scheme preview coming out probably around Thursday. Please make sure to like, share, and follow this podcast. We are now on YouTube as an audio podcast because Google is shutting down Google Podcasts. So you can catch us there now. And that's about it. We'll see you guys next week. And hope you guys have had a great Easter. And hope you have a great rest of your week. And we'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.